All right, welcome back, everybody. Tobin and Leroy. Take you guys up until 2 here on the program. We're going to have a special guest stop by today. We're very excited about it.
Special
guest is going to stop by today.
Is it Kevin Hart?
What?
Sorry, I just wanted.
Is Kevin Hart coming to the improv or something?
No, I just thought.
No,
maybe.
Kevin Hart doesn't do improv.
Everybody does improv to work on
Sometimes he
material.
does improv.
No, he doesn't.
Come on, he did it once.
What's the most famous guy you've had to just work on material?
Pete Davidson,
That's pretty famous.
Louis C.K.
Yeah, he
It's
did
not
like
Kevin
12
Hart famous?
seconds. He did a 12-second set.
He had his
What
moments.
about what
Didn't
about
Pete Davidson do like a 12-minute set?
No, it was like 30 minutes, 20, 25.
So ridiculous for a headliner.
What about
Right, that's what I'm saying.
What's her name? Tiffany Haddish. What about that one?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty good.
Pretty famous.
Pretty good.
Wasn't she a stripper back in the day?
Well, you know the
No,
past.
serious.
Makes for
I
great
don't know.
material.
That's me creepy. I think no, that was a movie.
So,
I remember one time my uncle was like doing a radio thing up in upstate New York, and he brought George Carlin on for a theater. But Carlin was working on material, so he had like the notepad out there and things like that.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Carlin, legend.
Legend.
Yeah.
greetings from Frankfurt, Germany.
Oh.
J-Fig, your favorite metal band, Pantera, is coming to the I Think Financial Amphitheater. What do you think about giving away some tickets today? You up for that?
Maybe.
All
Maybe
right.
I'll be nice
All right.
later.
All right. It's a Live Nation show, so keep on listening, and we will find out when she wants to give those away. But Leroy, you wanted to talk Miami Dolphins. What do you got, buddy? What struck your
So,
what got you all in a tizzy yesterday?
here's what happens in the first 12 seconds of free agency. You want your team to make a splash. You see everybody else making a splash.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. You think we suck. I have a different spin on this. And this drives me crazy with Chris Grier. And this is a valid complaint. One, the only good thing that you have is to show everybody that you draft well.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way you can do that is keep the guys you drafted. This team has had more guys walk that they have drafted than I've ever seen in football.
Ginks.
Than I've ever seen in football. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the Javon Holland thing, yeah, I get that.
Writing was on the wall.
Not Christian Wilkins, Hunt,
Van Ginkel.
Van Ginkel. You just let him walk for nothing. And I'm lobbying right now for Laramie Tunsil to be in the Hall of Fame.
Why?
That guy has garnered more draft picks in the history of the NFL, more than Herschel Walker.
Yeah.
That guy is people are giving up everything for him. He was here.
He was.
Let him go.
He got the cheetah.
Okay, but I'm just saying, you understand that for a guy who everybody complains about his decisions and roster moves,
Mm-hmm.
the one thing that would help it is keeping the guys you drafted.
I don't even think this is my biggest concern or complaint with
There's
him.
more.
Okay.
Now, what has been the biggest issue with this team the last 3 years?
Injuries.
Correct. Why would I sign a broke down player? 2 of them.
Well.
2. One guy signed the contract limping.
He's going to be ready for May.
He's beating science too, right?
That's what they say.
I don't want a guy beating science. I want active participants.
They said yesterday they signed this James Daniels from the Steelers, who they say is very good. And I'm not here to I'm not here to judge.
No.
But
He was very good before he tore his Achilles.
Week 4.
You understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Listen, let's put this on something different. Let's say that you're dating somebody and they don't treat you well and they're non-committed.
Yeah.
And you say, you know what? Let's just call it off. Let's go our separate ways or whatever. your next relationship is going to be anything other than the last guy or person you dated.
Different type of person, you're saying.
Right.
I got you. Unless you have a type.
Why do you keep signing the same type of players? So let's be clear. As much as I love Teron Armstead, you know what that deal is, right? If he comes back, he going to give you 12 to 15, right?
Sure.
You just signed a guy who tore his Achilles. You brought in a safety. Now, I'm not going to make a big deal about signing a safety. He's a good player. But he was banged up last year.
Yeah, of course.
Okay? So you let Javon Holland walk. You save some money by bringing another guy in that was plagued with injuries last year. Now, there's two ways to think of it. Some people could think of, like me, that why we signing broke down players? We need active participants. I don't want to sign anybody in hopes that they are ready. I need to sign guys who are ready to go because
They say
my ass is probably on the hot seat.
They say James Daniels is going to be ready to go.
Okay.
Can't tell you good news, though?
You said that about Bradley Chubb. I'm still waiting for Bradley Chubb to play.
Can I tell you the good news, though? About
Beating science.
I didn't say he was beating science.
He's been out as long as me.
I didn't say he was beating science.
When was the last time I played football?
2001?
2000. When was the last time you saw Bradley Chubb play?
2022, 23?
Yeah. And he was injury prone when you traded for him.
He was.
So why
he doesn't care.
Why do
I don't know what to tell you.
Doing the same thing.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, look, the one thing you can say with front offices, right, is that there is philosophies. And Chris Grier does not believe in injury prone. He doesn't think it's a thing. I don't get it, but he doesn't. Like, this we know about him. This is not like what happened yesterday should not be shocking. I hope it works out, but it shouldn't be shocking.
Are we past the point for hoping that it works out?
Oh yeah.
Like we need some guys who are you can depend on. And I'm not saying these guys aren't good players. I'm not saying that at all. But to be fair to me, it was the same thing I said to you about Tua and Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with their talent. I'm not drafting a guy who I have questions about his health that early in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Tua could end up being a Hall of Famer. But I'm justified for thinking what I was thinking back then. That you need guys on the field. The last 3 years have been plagued with injuries.
Mm-hmm.
What is the one thing I'm going to stay away from?
Steelers Reddit says he's very good.
They missing him already.
They are missing him. That's where I always go. When I want to know, I'm like, should I be excited about a player in a position that like is hard, like guard? I don't know. And I go to Steelers Reddit. They're like, oh, he's good.
Sure.
The healthiest player they signed was Zach Wilson. Ah!
Zach Wilson in South Florida with the MILFs. Dangerous game. Be careful.
He could probably hang out with Kiffin.
Oh, yeah.
Up in Boca.
I don't know. He may go for something different down here, though.
The Zach Wilson signing was very underwhelming. That was very underwhelming. Like
big old splash.
It was like, because you want to know the thing that is crazy about it? Like, he gets $6 million, right? Which I know is not huge quarterback money, but it's not nothing. And I'm thinking to myself, he didn't take a snap last year. Why doesn't he get the minimum? Like, why does he get $6 million with a chance to be 10?
Because that's a backup quarterback.
But Leroy, he didn't do anything last year.
You realize their backup quarterback.
He wasn't a backup last year. He was a backup's backup.
Wait, you do realize there are quarterbacks playing backup making $10 million plus.
I understand that.
Okay.
But you want to know something? They actually had playing time last year. This guy's only credentials are he was drafted by the Jets very high.
Yeah, but if Tua gets hurt, he's the guy.
Oh, I'm very nervous about it.
Hey,
I'm very nervous.
You!
He's not been good.
The first day of minicamp, all the signings going to be doing stretches with the trainers.
I get it. He's got a piss whistle, and Marcos sneaky,
Oh, hey, mobile, dude.
sneaky mobile for intangibles.
Wait, was it
Yeah.
him or Daniel Jones who tripped over
No,
himself?
That was Daniel
Daniel
Jones.
Okay.
That was Daniel Jones. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like,
I mean, he's gonna be the
Wait,
third quarterback, though.
Here's the point
what
I
do you mean?
made.
Because they're gonna draft somebody?
No, they're gonna get a
Wait.
veteran second.
I don't think
When
they are.
when
They
we
have to.
started this,
have this guy back here.
when we walked into that door, I
He's a
said,
MILF hunter.
it has to be amazing that the healthiest guy that you bring into your organization for as of right now
Mm-hmm.
is Zach Wilson. Now, to be fair,
Mhm.
all of my complaints are warranted. I'm telling you, the injury aspect of it, whatever, it's warranted based on what this team has been the last 3 or 4 years.
Yep.
But I do understand there's more offseason.
I do too.
But here's the problem. Can we get somebody closer to Tua? Healthy. You understand what I'm saying?
I don't know who you want. What do you want, Dylan Gabriel? Like,
No, I don't know. I'm just
like a
saying.
lefty? I don't know what you mean.
I'm just saying that when free agency starts, you go, here are all the things we need. You did need a safety, check. You did need an offensive lineman, check. Injured, right?
Mhm.
You need a whole bunch of defensive players and a whole bunch of offensive linemen.
Well, they really only need like one more offensive lineman now.
You here to be successful, you need probably 5 solid offensive linemen, 2 guys who are slightly above average, because you're going to need 7 guys.
Yeah, they signed a swing guy yesterday who's going to be, I'm sure they're backup of all things.
You don't even know his name.
It's Borum, I think.
Yeah, that's the one. I did the same thing. You know, the Steelers were like, "Oh no, I'm gonna miss him." I look at the Bears, and they're like, "Thank God that guy's gone."
Yeah, well, he looks like he's a utility guy. He's
Yeah.
basically new Eichenberg.
for sure. I think I heard.
I told you need a guy like that, though.
Well, thank God we don't have Eichenberg.
No. Okay. But wait.
He didn't get signed the first day of free agency. I'm stunned.
Every time you say that, you know what I think of?
Hmm.
Have you ever seen Thor with the Rock guy?
New
And
Doug.
he goes, New Doug.
Hey, new Eichenberg.
Hello, New Eichenberg. So, like, I'm
This is already going to make Daniels my favorite player
I'm
because he's not Eichenberg. I'm excited.
I'm not I understand there's more time. So I'm not saying it can't be fixed or the things that you need can't be.
But
Yeah.
what you're saying is, and it is true, the first not even 24 hours of free agency has been Chris Grier's MO his whole time, which is
Right.
I'm going to lose my high draft picks for nothing,
And
and I'm
gonna
going to sign
guys who have
really
played
injured
well,
players
who have played well but had some issues the last year or so, because I can get them
on the cheap skis.
right. Like here. There comes a time in life where the quality of what you're getting is worth the cost. You can't keep bargain shopping forever. At some point, you got to get quality players that you know with the money you're giving them is going to produce that. Now, to me, sometimes free agency is a little bit deceiving in that if there's a competition for your talents, you might get a little more than your value. So I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, there were guards. There was a guard who signed this morning for like $80 million.
Right.
So they got him. Yeah, they got him at a discount rate. I'm sure if he has a healthy year, he'll probably come back and be like, "Give me more money, Bobby."
Right.
But everybody says his talent, if he's right, is good. But it's just such it's such a scary thing because it's like if it doesn't work out,
I want
if
something
it doesn't
here.
work out and he doesn't come back all the way healthy, and it's a very scary injury,
Right.
You know, I just if we're gonna be left in the same spot where Tua is running for his life because you rolled the dice on a guy's Achilles fixing right. It's gonna be. It's one of these things. I know he's gonna say you guys are more concerned than we are. It's like cool, but you understand why we're concerned, right?
Yes, and so I get there's a lot of time, right? And I get that there's more work to be done. But it seems like all these other teams had a plan the second free agency started. Like, you see what Chicago did?
A lot.
Right. Like, they're like, we're going to get our offensive line fixed.
But they have a rookie quarterback. Like, they're going to have dough.
Okay.
So does Minnesota.
Right.
You know? They paid Tua.
Okay.
Like, that is
so
part of the.
So does New England.
But rookie quarterback. Like, everybody who spent big yesterday all has rookie quarterbacks.
And here's another thing that a lot of the teams that had a lot of success, most of their money is quarterback and line, offensive, defensive line, not really wide receivers.
No.
Right? So I would say this. There's two things that this team needs. And I don't know whether it's a schematic thing or a personnel thing. You need to be dogs up front. You need to be more physical up front. And you need to have a running game that reflects that. Because I said it all last year. I've said it the year before that. There's going to come a point in time where you have to line up against an 8-man box and get a first down to end the game or win a significant game.
Yep.
And this team can't do that. And so everything that they do should look at what has happened in football and look at how teams have been successful. There's a couple outliers, right? But you look at how teams have been successful. That's stopping the run and running the football in between the tackles.
What's a bigger concern for you, though? Is it a bigger concern that you signed a good player who's coming off a really critical injury, or that we're one snap away from MILF Hunter?
See, I believe this. I believe this with Zach Wilson. And I've always, and I've said this to you a lot, that if you draft a quarterback that has a lot of talent but needs a little bit of development and throw him on a crap team, on a crap organization, and he struggles, then we look at that as far as, oh, this guy was a bust. The talent was always there. The arm strength was always there. Okay, what were the pieces around him? So while I get people saying we only got Zach Wilson, these guys have done great with Tua. We all thought Tua was trash or was going to suck.
Tua was never as bad as Zach Wilson. Like, whatever people want to say about, but hold on, whatever people.
He never had the talent around him that.
But it doesn't matter. Whatever people want to say about Tua, Zach Wilson, Tua was never close to a bust like Zach Wilson was. It's not even close.
But again, it's the only organization that could take a Hall of Famer and make him 5-12.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
The Jets quarterback.
So if they took a Hall of Famer and he was only 5-12,
it has become.
What the hell you think that's going to be to Zach Wilson?
Geno Smith,
Sam
Darnold,
still play quarterback. Sam Darnold still play quarterback.
Just got a hundy.
Right. So all of the evidence is out there. Is it the quarterback or the organization? So there's some talent there. Now, I don't know what people what kind of talent you expecting in a backup quarterback. Hell, if he could start, he'd be starting. There's a bunch of teams starving for quarterback play.
Sure.
So your backup is going to be exactly what, he has talent, but he hasn't been in the right situation. So I'm not upset that the Dolphins signed Zach Wilson. Like, he's a backup quarterback.
Mac Jones was out there. He's a Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowler.
Listen.
Pro Bowl gritty.
A guy named McCorkle came from the South. I'm just telling you.
It was centered around facts. You don't have anything. Hey,
Conspiracies.
let me tell you something. You got nothing to apologize for, Leroy. You have a concern with this team that's totally legitimate. Totally legitimate.
You told them to fix it.
Fix it, dude.
But I don't. Here's what I've always said: the problem that fans have with organizations. Whether you like what Chicago did or not, there seems to be a plan. All the fans can kind of recognize what that plan is.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's excitement about how it's going to work out.
But they're in a different spot than the Dolphins.
No. I'm just here. Bear with me.
Okay.
I know they're in a different spot. For the last 3 or 4 years, what has been the plan? What has been like something that, as a fan of the Dolphins, something that you could grasp on and say, I see where we're going. I see what we're doing here. Because the last time somebody asked the question, he laughed.
It felt like the plan for the Dolphins and their identity was going to be fastest team on the planet.
Yeah, but
that was their identity.
Okay.
It got figured out.
No, it's not even that.
Would you disagree with that though? Like
that's worked.
I understand.
The last time it worked was the greatest show on turf.
But I'm asking you, would you agree that was their identity? That was their plan?
Yes. And some said it was very similar to what San Francisco was doing and how they ran offense or whatever. But here's the problem. As much as you want to say they were trying to do what San Francisco did and do it in a manner that San Francisco did, San Francisco was, even with all that trickery on offense, one of the most physical teams in the NFL.
Sure. Debo, Kittle.
Right.
Mooses.
Even on defense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Trent Williams.
So even with that plan, they still had problems playing basic football.
I know.
And so that's what I don't understand when I say I don't understand what the plan is. Because even if your idea of what you want the team to be resembled what San Francisco was.
But if I wanted to be,
it's not that.
But if I wanted to be Johnny Aqua Glasses right now, right? And I wanted to give the spin on it, I would say, what? This is what you want to put on?
Johnny Aqua Glasses. Johnny Aqua Glasses. All we need now is little dolphins in the
Leroy.
Okay, what's up, Johnny?
Mike
Aquaman.
McDaniel
Johnny.
and Chris Grier acknowledged at the combine that they were going to invest in the offensive line. They have started investing in the offensive line. They bring in a guy of Pro Bowl caliber talent. Yes, he's coming off of an Achilles injury, but in a world, in a world where they got to be smart with their money because they've spent a lot already on quarterback, wide receiver, pass rusher. They need to be smart with their dough. If you get a talent like that and you're able to get him at a third of the price that other Pro Bowl talent guards are doing, that's called good football ops, dude. And they are starting to invest in the trenches.
If I made Johnny Aquaman.
No, Johnny Aqua Glasses.
Johnny Aqua Glasses. If I may. I don't want Pro Bowl-like talent. I'm not shopping at freaking Temu.
Oh, you're not
okay. I don't want Temu offensive linemen.
We need to be grown-ups. We need to be grown-ups. We need to be grown-ups.
No.
We got to cover.
Wait. This is like, you know what? It sounds like tastes like chicken debate. Have you ever had this? Tastes just like chicken.
I
I
understand.
just ate chicken. Give me a Pro Bowler.
But it's kind of like having a mutt chicken. You know, it's like, maybe he makes good eggs, but I got him on the cheap skis.
Nope.
Johnny Aquaglass isn't selling you?
No, that ain't selling. But you understand what I'm saying?
No, I get you, dude.
At
Look,
some point, I don't need Pro Bowl offensive line.
Well, let me ask you this. Do you think the Dolphins are in a spot right now where, like, they could restructure Tua's deal and could have gotten more money? They're not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not opening up more space. They're being more prudent with it for now. Do you think that Stephen Ross, for once, is telling them, nah, dude, I'm not writing a big check this offseason. Like, you guys figure it out because this is your jobs on the line.
No. I think
you think he would spend regardless. If they wanted him to spend, he would do it.
Right. But that's not the problem. The problem isn't the money.
Mm-hmm.
People are making it about the money. My problem is with the decisions. Nothing that I said had anything to do with money. It had to do with the last 3 years we've been plagued with injuries, and you out here signing broke players.
But it has a little bit to do with money because you've decided the guys you invested. Like when you mentioned Washington, Chicago, New England, Minnesota,
they hadn't invested any money in anybody.
They have all very four things that are very – they're at the spend willy-nilly. The Dolphins spent their willy-nilly money. Right. It hasn't worked out right now.
Okay, because all the places that you spent your money aren't making a big enough impact because the units on the field that those guys depend on weren't good.
That's true.
So, to throw the ball down the field, you need time. You didn't have time, so you started throwing these little bubble screens and quick passes, and now you're in 2nd and 14, and you're wondering why. Because you can't run the ball on 1st down because it's always 2nd and 12. Because the offensive line's not working out. So, with all that being said, my thought process is, hey, we've been banged up front. Let's get us some guys we can depend on. Let's get us some guys that can come in and play 16, 17 games, and let's build that way.
Timbo slices. Leroy's getting mad at a hypothetical character. Johnny Aquaglasses.
You gave him his glasses, Leroy.
Literally handed it to him.
We've been doing this show for over 8-9 years. He's been an imaginary character for all that time. Now you're, what the hell?
Hold on. Just one moment, guys. We got to put on the props.
Zach Wilson's got potential. You know, he's got a real hoose. He can move around. You need to realize if Tua gets one more injury, you need your quarterback of the future already here. Only 25 years old, younger than Michael Penix. Johnny Aquaglasses.
Over and out.
Like, I'm not even having a conversation about backup quarterback. Right? My hopes is that the backup quarterback never has to play. But I am talking about the guys that got to play. Right?
Of course.
They signed a guy who's going to limp in the press conference.
Maybe he has a scooter.
Oh, that would. Let me tell you something. Who's the new guy's name?
James Daniels.
James Daniels. Tell you right now, if you come to sign your contract on a scooter or any type of apparatus, I'm talking about the one where you put your knee on it and you scoot around, right? Crutches, wheelchair.
Do you need help with the camera?
Any of the sorts.
Pretty good. Look at that.
I'm going to blow a gasket.
Mobile.
No, why are you throwing
not working? The table's blocking.
He's an offensive lineman.
I was trying to keep my balance.
So think about that.
No Pilates.
Think about that. Like, I want the Dolphins. How can I put this and be nice? I think if the injured guys were healthy, they could beat the guys that were actually playing.
Huh.
Think about that. Chew on that for a minute.
Say that again. In the mic.
Guys who are injured and miss a lot of time the last couple years for this team.
Yep.
If healthy, they could beat the guys who actually play.
Yeah, I think isn't that usually, aren't they starters?
So why are we signing broke down guys? Listen, I don't know how this is going to play out. I don't.
But you're nervous.
Because what has plagued this team? Injuries. Now.
Doesn't bother the GM.
What?
It doesn't.
Neither did offensive line.
It's boxed in.
He laughed at us. Who's laughing now?
You've been boxed.
I want to cry.
Take a break.
Our swing guys sucked at 3 positions.
Amazon Prime.